Welcome back to Big Time Fantasy Football, guys. It's Zach and Nick, as always. So today we have a batch of three more quarterbacks that we're going to dive into in this upcoming class. This is the last draft analysis we're doing for positions before the draft here next Thursday, the 25th. I'm so excited for the draft, so let's get on these last batch of guys here. But before that, just remember, please give us a like, a subscribe. It helps so much. Our channel's growing, and we're doing everything we can, so it would help so much.
All right, let's get right into it. So today, first guy we're talking about is J.J. McCarthy, Michigan quarterback. He's 6'3", 202 pounds, and he's only 21 years old, so he's pretty young for a quarterback prospect that's coming out this year. He kind of lacked big-time production compared to other prospects in college this year, but he pretty much did everything that Michigan asked from him. Um, but we comped him to like a more athletic Kirk Cousins. He can make all the throws on the field. He sticks in the pocket well. He can move the pocket, but he can also run a little bit. So J.J. McCarthy, big thing about him, he has a winner mentality. He went 27-1 at Michigan as a starter, which is incredible for a college career. I know he worked in like more of a pro style offense as well under Jim Harbaugh. I know they didn't really ask the world of him, but when they needed him, he stepped up. I believe his percentage throwing the ball was over 70%. I believe it was 73 this past year. And then when we look at third down percentage, it actually jumped up to about 75%, which is absolutely incredible for when your team needs you to just get 75% of the first downs that you try for on third. So that's actually incredible. He's really good at throwing in tight windows very accurately, and he can deliver the ball under pressure. Along with that winner mentality, he's super focused when he's in the pocket and when he's playing the quarterback position. And I think those skills will transfer to the NFL super well. So I really like J.J. McCarthy. Like I said, he does have some rushing upside. He's pretty quick. We don't really have a 40 time on him. He didn't run a 40 at the combine. But I know he's quick and he ran a little bit while he was at Michigan when he needed it, but he was more of a eyes downfield type of guy. Move the pocket around, see if there's a better throw somewhere else. In last resort, he would run. Couple knocks on him though. Not much college production. He also doesn't really have the strongest arm. He really can improve on his deep ball and his touch. And when he does throw the deep ball, he kind of has to put all of his oomph into it and really step into those throws. He can't really make the deep throws like when he's under pressure. But over the middle, everything short, intermediate range, he can make those throws at an elite level. So, what do you think about J.J. McCarthy, sir?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Definitely a winner. He was there winning at Michigan nonstop. He, like you said too, he wasn't asked to do a lot, so he's kind of a question mark in that regard. To if he was running like a full normal quarterback load, what would that look like? But he's doing something really well to fly up these draft boards and impress these NFL teams. And NFL scouts know things that we couldn't possibly know. So I think there is more to him, and I think he's a definitely exciting prospect to see where he lands and then how he performs his rookie year and going forward off that. Next guy we got is Michael Penix Jr. So kind of doing the scouting and the research on him. At first I was lower on him going up, and then I saw some flashes. So he's kind of a really confusing prospect to really break down. But he's 6'3", 213. He has a good build for a quarterback. He is older, as you can see on the bottom. For you mathematicians out there, that is 6 seasons that he played. So he is going to be 24 years old as soon as he gets drafted, basically. The NFL player comparison that I gave him was Tua. It was kind of just the easy out, just because they are both lefties that don't move, that don't necessarily run. But with Penix, it's kind of strange that he didn't run a ton, and I'll get into that when I get to his full breakdown. So he led college football in deep ball attempts. Watching him, it's pretty obvious that his calling card was the deep ball. He had 125 attempts this last year of these deep balls, and of those, he's almost solely throwing out of the pocket. 88% of his throws were in the pocket. And I put here that he's a surprising athlete because he ran a 4.58 40. He had a 36.5 vertical. But when you watch him play, you see all his games, look at his numbers, he didn't run. He had like 10 scramble outs, I think, total this last season, which with that speed and his ability, and when he does run, he looks good, but he just doesn't do it. I don't know why, but he does have the ability. But should we put that as a positive in his NFL game if he hasn't shown that he wants to use it? So he has it, but he doesn't use it. And he did have some injuries. Every of his first 4 seasons, 4 out of the 6, he was injured and played a max of 7 games in those. And then in those injuries, he had 2 ACL injuries, which is really one of the worst ones that you can have. So that's something that NFL teams are obviously going to be aware of. You should be aware of as a drafter too that potential is that he might get hurt. And his calling card is more arm strength over touch. He can put it on a rope. It's just he struggles more so when he needs to kind of loft it. He has shown flashes of lofting it, but then he'll also miss some easy ones, the inconsistencies with that. But he does have a cannon. He can put it on a rope. He can hit you back shoulder. He can do all that. But it's just again the touch that he needs to work on. And another thing that he struggles with is his pressure. As soon as there was pressure on him, all his numbers across the board went down statistically. He was 16th out of 24 prospects under pressure. He took sacks incredibly low rate for a guy that didn't get out of the pocket and wasn't great with pressure. He didn't actually take a lot of sacks, so that is a positive to him. But under pressure is something that he does struggle. So if he can work with the pressure and get a little more touch, he's definitely a great prospect. So
Yeah, and Michael Penix is someone I've kind of I was very low on him at first, mostly because of his pressure rate and how much he struggles with it, and the fact that he's been injured and in and out. But I kind of heated up on him throughout this offseason already. I don't know if that's because my Broncos might take him if they stay where they're at. But he just looks good throwing the ball, and I know it's kind of weird because he's a lefty. You're not used to seeing it thrown from that side. But I think if he goes to a good team with a good offensive line that can keep him protected to where he's not running around or feeling all that pressure, I think he could definitely succeed in the NFL.
yeah,
So,
and I don't know if it's just because he's a lefty, but like he has kind of a weird throwing angle and stance
yes.
when he throws a lot of
But
times.
the
I don't know if
spirals
it's
there,
he's a lefty or if he actually does. But a lot of former NFL quarterbacks are saying that during the draft process, he's kind of fixed a little bit of his throw, which I guess was something that was a knock on him. So they obviously can see that way better than I can, but it does look interesting watching his highlights when he throws.
yeah,
And the next guy, Bo Nix. Honestly, doing the research, I might be higher on Bo Nix than Penix now. I just think he has a higher floor. I think Penix has a much higher ceiling, but I think Nix has the higher floor. He's 6'2", 217, another decent build there. Another guy that's older, he's 24. He had 5 seasons in college. And the NFL player comparison that I gave him is I heard Andy Dalton, and I actually like that a lot. Someone that's not looking to run and move, but they can make throws on the run. They can get around. A solid career starter. He's never the MVP of the league or pushing for that, but just a guy that was around. And if you look at Bo Nix, like last 2 seasons, you would think he was one of the best quarterbacks, and especially that last season, one of the best quarterbacks available in this draft. But I think that kind of goes with the depth. This draft class is pretty good. Like there's the top three. There's always a decent top three guys. But I feel like this next group of guys, they're not elite, but they're better than most draft classes that you're getting, especially in recent memory. So he did lead the draft class in completion percentage at 77.3%. And this is for him moving and stationary. Does both very well, as I mentioned before. He did have a lot of kind of screens and short dump offs and didn't go down the field a lot, but he did still lead in completion percentage. And how I mentioned with Penix is he's a arm strength over a touch type of guy. Bo Nix is the direct opposite of that. He can throw the deep ball. It's not his forte, but he can throw the deep ball, and he does it with a lot of lob instead of more bullet. And he just has good arm touch or good touch and not as much arm strength as some of those other guys that we'll see. And as I mentioned, he threw a lot of screens and short passes. His average depth of target was the second lowest in college football at 6.8 yards. So, like I said, just not throwing it down the field that much. And I put this note in here just to kind of remind myself that I see him being like a Teddy Bridgewater or a Tyrod Taylor type career, where he's going to be a bridge guy a lot. He's going to be a high end backup, and that's kind of what he's going to be used at. Does he have the upside to be more? Yeah. Does he have a floor to be lower? Of course. But this is kind of my projections on him. That will be his career arc. So mark this, and I'm sure it will be like that. But and then the question here is, does he have room to grow? He's one of the older guys. Like I said, he's 24 years old already. He spent 5 years in college, and he did look way better at Oregon than he did at Auburn. He definitely grew from there. But at this point, does he still have another level that he can hit? He's an older guy. He's been where he's been. So that's kind of the thing to be seen with Bo Nix. How do you feel about Bo?
Yeah. I don't hate Bo Nix. I do think by now it was his 5th year in college. He should be able to read a defense pretty well. And I feel like at Oregon especially, they had him throw a lot of screen passes and short passes. It was like slant, slant, screen, slant, like over and over again watching his film. And I hope that he can make more than just those type of throws. I hope he can get a consistent deep ball under his belt, especially if he's going to the NFL. I don't think, or I think he will need less time to mature and grow in the league. Him and Penix, I think both of them will need less time than J.J. McCarthy. I think they can be day one starters in the league, but I think, like you were saying, I think Penix has a higher ceiling than Bo Nix, and I think J.J. has a higher ceiling than both of them. So.
Yeah, for sure. And with Nix, it's like with his depth of target and all that, it's not even like he was bad downfield. Like he wasn't just throwing an interception or a wild ball every time he went.
They just never asked him.
Yeah, so I think it could be either way, but I think it's more the Oregon offense than his ability. So excited to see if that is something that he can really do, or if maybe Oregon was onto something and that's why they didn't want him throwing down the field. But yeah, like you said, McCarthy definitely probably will take a little while to grow, but that's because he's 21, about to be 21, so
21.
He's much younger, and obviously there's a reason that he is on the top of the list of these 3 guys. So
absolutely. You got anything else?
No, that's good. I mean, exciting this draft. Obviously, the receiver class is the main card that everyone's looking at for this draft, but I think it's not almost as equal, but right behind it is this quarterback class. It's very interesting as well. Even Spencer Rattler, we mentioned in another video, we didn't get him in here. I mean, there's just it's really exciting just to see what will go on. I'm pumped. I can't even. This NFL draft, I don't know why it is. I'm just so excited for it more than years past.
Yes, sir. Less than a week now, so we'll get draft landing spots. We'll be able to do more analysis on these players. Are they in a good fit? Are they not? What do teams need? So, very excited.
Absolutely. Well, that's all we got for this. We're done with the draft analysis, so we'll have some more different types of games, this, that, and the other. If you have any ideas for a video, let us know. If you have a certain way you feel about any of these 3 guys, let us know that as well. But that should be all for us. It's been Big Time Fantasy Football. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thanks, guys.